Hello everyone, Giltar here with a Kamen Rider model kit review for Rider Fest. This time we'll be looking at the MasterGrade Figurerise Kamen Rider Double Cyclone Joker model kit from Bandai. It was released several weeks ago in August 2010 and normally retails for 3,800 yen or over $40 American. Now at current exchange rates it's actually about $45 at this time. When I pre-ordered and paid for this model kit, it was more around the $41 mark or so, and plus I did get some discounting because of the store I bought it from. Now with respect to the model kit itself, it is the second Figurerise model in the Figurerise lineup, the first one being Son Goku, which has already several repaints. Now I'm going to say right off the bat, I can't recommend this model kit to anybody except those who simply really like the Kamen Rider Double Cyclone Joker design, or a Kamen Rider Double fan, or a Kamen Rider fan who's more of a completionist who has to have everything related to Kamen Rider. That's the type of person I would really recommend this model kit to. To anybody else who's either a casual Kamen Rider fan or a plastic model kit enthusiast who is more into Gundam but wants to check out things like the Figurerise line, I would say get Son Goku over Kamen Rider Double Cyclone Joker. And the reasons being is that, well, first of all, proportions. There are issues with proportions, which is really important to me because it's a display piece. I mean, ultimately, despite articulation functionality, this is a model kit. This is something that you put up on the shelf and you look at from time to time. And because of that, it should look nice. It should look good. And the main flaw of this model kit in terms of its visuals is that it has tiny hands and tiny feet for the body's proportions, and it's something that is apparent right away off the bat when you look at this model kit, and then you start examining certain features. Eventually your eyes are going to be drawn to the hands and feet and noticing how small they are. That is a big problem with the model kit in my eyes, and again, that really relates to my opinion that model kits are display pieces first and foremost, and so they should have a really good appearance. And something like a human body, basically, the major points that you're looking at of proportions are arms, legs, and then feet and hands and head and torso. I mean, those are the major parts of the body. And if anything's off, it throws everything else out of whack, out of balance. And a lot of people have commented on the small hands. And it wasn't until I got the model kit assembled in person and saw it with my own eyes that not only were the hands an issue, but again, the feet as well. So that is a problem. Now, functionally speaking, the hands don't really affect functionality, but the feet, because they're so small, they do hinder stability of the model kit. And because the feet are so small, it doesn't have the greatest balance. You really have to work around with it to get it to achieve the balance that you want, so that it doesn't fall over at the slightest of a breeze coming by or somebody just bumping into the table slightly. It will cause it to fall over unless you really get it into a particular rock solid pose, something like this. And even then, I'm moving the table now, it's just wiggling or wobbling a little bit, so you do have to watch out for that. That's the biggest problem I have with the model kit, is the proportions. Now there are some other more minor issues, like the elbow joints, for example, are particularly thin looking from the front. The head looks a little too round from the front, though I will say that from 3/4 and from profile view, the head sculpt looks perfect. I do find that the shoulders are a little too broad for the overall figure. It makes it look like he's wearing like really huge shoulder pads. And the thighs do look a little too thick, but that, I think, actually there's a reason for that, which I'll touch upon in a few moments. But aside from that, those are the issues I have. Now that's also combined with the relatively high price of this model kit. Now it is, within the normal sort of range of MasterGrade models. Like these days we're looking at 3,000 to 4,000 yen on average. And we're looking more at, it's more likely going to be a 4,000 yen price range these days with MasterGrade model kits, 3,500 to 4,000 yen. So this isn't exactly expensive when you consider that, but again, for what you're getting, the issues with proportions, and in my opinion, those issues are easily avoidable. I can't see how these proportion problems got past the approval process and was given the green light for production. It's something that I think should have been apparent to the person or people in charge of designing this model kit. Now, aside from that, which again, are issues of various points of proportion combined with a relatively high price point. It is, a good model kit, without a doubt. I'm a big fan of the Figurerise line. I really enjoyed the Son Goku Figurerise model kit, and just like with that model kit, the Cyclone Joker here has a lot of sort of hidden engineering and design points that I think were really interesting. And it's something that you can only sort of understand and enjoy if you build the model kit yourself. There are a lot of internal components that are hidden once you complete the model kit, which is actually a good thing because, first of all, relatively speaking, there aren't a lot of visible nub marks. Most of them are cleverly hidden by the designers who set up the design of the parts and how they were laid out on the runners or the gates, so that most of these sprues, the termination points, are hidden from view, which is a really good thing, especially because these aren't model kits for hardcore modelers. These are model kits for a wide range of people, and many of which aren't the type of people who want to sand down and repaint model kits for a flawless, visual appearance. So for straight builds, this looks actually pretty darn good, because it doesn't have a lot of visible nub marks when you complete it. Now, another good thing about this model kit is that I actually found the build not only to be an enjoyable process, but also to be a quick one. It only took me just under 4 hours to complete this model kit. And that was at a casual pace. I wasn't, sort of hunkering down, working purely on building the model kit. I was doing other things as well, taking various breaks at various times. And again, overall, it only took me about almost 4 hours to complete the model, which is surprising because even though it isn't quite as complicated as a Gundam model kit because they have inner frames and more small pieces to assemble, this is still a fairly complex kit with an involved build process, but still it surprisingly took a very short amount of time. So that might appeal to people who just don't want to spend too much time building model kits. They want to get to the sort of finished product, and at least Cyclone Joker will allow you that benefit there. Now, another great thing about the model is just a really great range of articulation. Even though it does have stability problems because of the smallness of the feet, it has the ability to strike some really great poses. Range of articulation is wonderful. A hinged toe joint, a double sort of point of articulation for the ankles where you can swivel back and forward, side to side. You can do a full rotation if you want. Double hinged knees for almost a flush bend. I mean, you get like this far. And something I want to point out here is that the leg armor, I did mention that they're a little too thick for my liking, but that's because there is a gimmick here. If you bend the knee, the thigh armor actually separates and slides down, very similar to the real grade RX-72 Gundam model kit's thigh armor design, which is pretty interesting that the Cyclone Joker here has that same sort of automated articulation gimmick. Another point of articulation I find interesting, interesting is that the double driver belt here, you can actually flip up and down like that, which is it's a nice thing for Kamen Rider double fans to see. The Gaia memory are actually removable. I actually removed the Cyclone one and put it into the maximum driver slot here. Now, I didn't apply any of the stickers. I want to say that right now, if you haven't already noticed. I haven't applied any of the stickers to the model kit. If you want to see what the model looks like with all the stickers applied, check out Prime 92's video, which she reviewed this model kit. She did a great job as usual, and you can see in her review how this model looks with all the stickers applied. Now, getting back to articulation, multiple joints in the thighs as well for rotation at the thigh itself. At the hip, you can pretty much do the splits almost. You can rotate the waist, though it is sort of hindered by the sculpt. You can only go back and or side to side that much. There is a ball joint in the middle of the torso, which allows a really great range of motion. Double hinged elbows for a really great bend. Articulation at the wrist for rotation and swivel. Articulated hands so that you actually have the middle ring and pinky fingers on a sort of, they're all combined, they're all on 3 ball joints that connect to the hand. The index finger is on its own ball joint, and all the fingers here have a hinge at the knuckles here. 1 hinge at the knuckles, so you can bend them to a degree.
The thumb itself only has a ball joint to connect to the hand. There are no other hinge or ball joints in the thumb itself, but you still have the ability to oppose it to a certain degree. The shoulders themselves are sort of on, not really a socket, but on an internal hinge that allows you to move it back and forward. You can't go up and down, but you can at least have the hinge to move the arm up like that. Full rotation at the shoulder and at the bicep, or below the shoulder there. There is a bicep bend like the Son Goku model kit, so that when you bend the arm, a sort of bulge comes out for the bicep. You also have sort of the point of the elbow comes out also when you bend the arm. What I really like about the upper arm design is the shoulder armor. Actually, it's on a circular track or rail that basically allows you to move it independently of the arm itself, so that you can position the arm any way you want, and you basically adjust the shoulder armor so that it comes down and sort of folds over or hugs the shoulder properly. So you get a really great functionality and appearance out of that design point. Finally, the neck has 2 points. There's one at the base of the neck for articulation. You can move it a bit, but really the main point of articulation for the neck is at the base of the skull where it connects to the top of the neck there. It's a ball joint which allows some really great movement. Naturalistic looking too. It doesn't look too silly. And finally, we have the scarf here. There are 2 scarves. This one actually has 2 components so that you can actually slide it out, so you can see both pieces of the scarf or muffler. It's connected via ball joint peg to the back of the collar, so you do have some movement out of it for some more dynamic poses. I'll just sort of show you guys splits. Like it actually has a really impressive ability to do almost a full split there. Now I'm going to put the model kit down just for a second and show you guys basically what accessories the model comes with. Essentially a sort of full single sculpted scarf. It's a little longer and it's for more dynamic posing for the Kamen Rider double Cyclone Joker character when you're doing aerial kicks and whatnot. And then you have a display stand here, which is nice. It's very similar, if not identical, to the Son Goku display stand for that MasterGrade Figurerise model kit. There's a locking mechanism here, which allows you to just pull it out and allows you to extend or retract the neck of the stand, and you just clip it in there and then it just remains locked. There's a hinge here which is somewhat ratcheted, but it's a weak ratchet joint, so it doesn't really support weight that well. And finally, there's a connection point at the top. Now what's really cool about this connection point is that it basically duplicates the look of the back of the double driver belt here. The middle component here you can actually remove, and then you attach this part, which has a peg here, which then attaches into the slot or port on the display stand and allows you to suspend the model kit like so. So that's a really nice feature. You have a connection point for the model kit, which retains the visual for the most part of the appearance of the model. So you don't have some obtrusive clamp or arm sort of getting in the way. It just basically plugs into the back, and it actually looks quite nice. So overall, that's the model kit itself. Again, there are some significant issues in my opinion. Visuals, the visual design, the appearance of the model kit is very important. And so with that in mind, because of those issues all adding up, I can't recommend this model kit to the sort of casual model kit enthusiast or even casual Kamen Rider fan. You really do have to be a serious fan of Kamen Rider Double to overlook those flaws. Now, I don't have regrets over buying this model kit. I do enjoy it despite the flaws, but just sort of the way that those issues, those flaws, are so easily avoidable, I think it's a great shame that Bandai's designers here, their designer team for this model kit, really dropped the ball. Hopefully, it's unlikely, but hopefully any future double Cyclone Joker or Heat Metal Luna Trigger model kits, those 2 repaints, improve. Hopefully they sort of provide different sculpted hands and feet. It's unlikely because they're essentially repaints with some extra accessories, but who knows. But yeah, I really can't say I recommend this model kit overall, which is unfortunate because I really was looking forward to it. So that's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got something out of it. As usual, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next video.